What if you went to a foreign country thinking you would have the best time of your life, a country known to be safe, full of fun things to do, but end up never coming back home? This killer was so desperate that he decided to deform and give himself plastic surgery in order to evade the police. Tatsuya Ichihashi is one of the most infamous criminals in Japan. The story was so crazy it was made into a movie and even a book. You guys love the intuition test that I did last time so much, so here's another intuition test. I'm gonna be picking one of the cards out of these three and you're gonna tell me what you think I'll pick. Take a deep breath, let it out, and use your intuition to see if you get it right. Alright, I'm picking card number 3. Did you guys get it right? I'm gonna try to remember to do these intuition tests every video so that your intuition and my intuition, we can work on it together. So grab your food and snacks so we can go into the story, and I'm gonna grab my burger that I made with HelloFresh, and I just want to say thank you so much to HelloFresh for partnering up with me for these videos. I so love it whenever HelloFresh partners up with me because it is so convenient and easy and so fun to cook at home. And as you guys can see, the vegetable and meats are super fresh when it comes in. Because it is pre-proportioned, first of all, I am not wasting any food, and you're not going to the store wasting time just standing in line getting a bag of carrots and potatoes that I'll never even finish. Cooking is super easy. There's instruction cards that you can look at. You make your own homemade sauces as well. How great is that? I made this in my tiny kitchen in my tiny oven, so everything is possible even if you live alone or in a small space. Then I started stacking my juicy turkey burgers. There was so much juice pouring out of that turkey burger. 100% of HelloFresh carbon emissions are offset, and the packaging they use is almost entirely made from recyclable or already recycled content. Wow. Sweet chili and mayonnaise, I didn't know they were a perfect combo. So if you guys are ready to kick off summer by making these delicious recipes, I have the link and a coupon down below where you could get 12 free meals across 4 boxes, code and link down below. And thank you so much to HelloFresh. I am always happy whenever I get some good food in my stomach. Tatsuya was born on January 1979. When this story happened, he was just 28 years old. He grew up in the Gifu area of Japan, and he was the son of a mother who was a dentist and a father who was a doctor. So safe to say he grew up pretty well. It's not like he grew up poor or lacking anything. He also got a very good education where he graduated at Chiba University in 2005, majoring in horticulture. But despite his doctor parents and graduating at a university, Tatsuya was known to be a very big loner. A lot of people online believe that he could have been a hikikomori, where these are the type of people who feel very isolated from the public and society, and they seek extreme degrees of social isolation and confinement. Not only was he known to be a loner, but he was known to be a very lazy guy. After he graduated, he didn't get a job, and he lived off of his parents' allowance. His parents gave him a monthly allowance of about $760, and this was back in 2005, and due to his parents, he was also able to afford a 3-bedroom apartment in Japan. And if you guys don't know or haven't been in Japan, Japanese apartments are super small, and it is actually very lucky if you even get a 2-bedroom apartment. So the fact that he had a 3-bedroom apartment, it meant that he was living very comfortable as a jobless man in his 20s. He sometimes even stole to get by, and right after graduation, he tried to steal from a woman where he ended up assaulting her. But that case went into mediation, I believe, so it was settled outside of court, and it's speculated that his father paid the woman off about $10,000, so that case was gone and he never got into any official punishment or trouble. So it seems like anytime he got into trouble, his parents were able to bail him out. According to people who knew him, including his then girlfriend, they said that he was obsessed with his body. He went to the gym, often cycled 25 kilometers a day, which is about 15 miles. He also really liked to read violent manga. I mean, that's what usually comic books are for your fantasies to come alive that you can't in reality. It was reported that he did have a stable relationship with the girl he was dating at the time, and the woman was working at Tokyo Disney, and it was said that he really liked her. It was starting 2007 when Tatsuya claimed that he was becoming mentally unstable, whatever that means. On March 20th, 2007, he approached a foreign woman named Lindsay Hawker. Lindsay was a 22-year-old who worked as an English teacher in Japan. She was from England and she studied biology where she graduated at the University of Leeds. She was very smart, even achieved first-class honors degree. She was someone who was so bright, intelligent, and wanted to branch out, which is the reason why she wanted to go to Japan and kind of explore more and have a new experience in life. She started teaching English in Japan in 2006 under the Nova Company, which was a huge English school service that connects teachers to students. She lived in Japan with 2 other roommates who were also English teachers. So back to March 20th, 2007, Lindsay was on the train back home from her work, and this is where Tatsuya approached her. When she got off the train, Tatsuya also got off the train and started to ask her some odd questions. Tatsuya started saying, "Hey, I know you. You're my English teacher." Lindsay said, "I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. I don't know you. You're not my student." She knew this was super awkward, so she got on her bike and started cycling back to her apartment. Tatsuya literally ran and followed her all the way to her apartment, which could be very dangerous because now the stranger knows where you live. Now, when they got to the apartment, Tatsuya, he asked for a glass of water. And Lindsay kind of felt bad at this point, and she knew that she had 2 roommates up in the apartment, so that this random guy couldn't do anything. And if he did, the roommates would come and try to help her. And because you're a foreigner in a country, I guess you try to be more nice and give more of the benefit of the doubt because you might not understand that person or that culture's personality. They went inside, she gave him a glass of water, and Tatsuya started to draw Lindsay. I think this was his awkward way of trying to get to know her or trying to get comfortable with her. And here's a drawing that Tatsuya drew of Lindsay, and he wrote his email, his phone number, and his name. And if you see his email was whitelover@hotmail.com. Yeah. At the end, before he left, he kept insisting that he wanted her to become his English teacher and that he would pay a great money, around $30, I believe, an hour. So that wasn't bad. So, I mean, I'm sure anyone could use an extra cash, and she could meet potentially a new friend in Japan, so she agreed. Lindsay was also known to keep in contact with her family and friends very well. She actually emailed her boyfriend in England saying that she met a man in Japan and that she wanted to teach English. 4 days later, on March 24th, that's when they met up at a coffee shop to have this private tutoring. CCTV footage shows them in the coffee shop, and in my opinion, she is very uncomfortable. You could see her touching her hair. You could see like her kind of taking a step back whenever he's kind of like going like this to her. And especially when women are touching their hair like this, it's definitely a sign that she is very uncomfortable here. But you know, she's here to teach English and be very professional. After the 1-hour lesson was over, Tatsuya suddenly claimed that he forgot his money to pay her for the lesson. So Tatsuya said, "Hey, why don't you come over to my apartment? I'll give you the money. My apartment is just right over here. We just need to take a quick taxi and that's it. I will pay you." We don't know if Lindsay hesitated or how agreeable she was to this, but in the end she did agree to take the taxi to Tatsuya's home. When they got to Tatsuya's apartment, Lindsay told the taxi driver to wait for her because she was going to be out in a minute. And about 7 minutes passed before the taxi driver decided to leave and just take on other customers. The taxi driver believed that she just wasn't coming back anymore. This was the last time anyone have seen Lindsay alive ever again. She didn't show up to her other lessons, didn't answer her calls and emails, and the Nova school eventually reported her missing 2 days after. When the police was investigating Lindsay's disappearance, the roommates told her that she didn't come back the day that she was supposed to give a man named Tatsuya the English lessons. The roommates gave the police the drawing that Tatsuya made, and this is when police decided to go to Tatsuya's apartment to see if he knew anything about Lindsay. Police actually couldn't even knock on the door of Tatsuya's apartment because they didn't have legal reasons, and unless you do, I guess you can't even knock on the door. So the police was kind of standing around his apartment to see if he would come in and out to try and interview him. Now, I'm not sure coincidentally or Tatsuya saw that there was police standing outside of his apartment, he decided to leave his apartment barefoot with just a backpack. He was confronted by the police and he got super nervous and he just started running. Eventually, Tatsuya was able to outrun the police, and starting here would be a very long manhunt chase for Tatsuya Ichihashi. Police found Lindsay inside Tatsuya's apartment, and what happened to her was just brutal. Lindsay was found inside of a bathtub that was moved from the bathroom to the balcony. I guess they have removable bathtubs? He had filled the tub with sand and compost soil. She was found clothingless, bounded, and gagged. Autopsy showed that she tried to fight off the attack. Her final death was most likely by a neck cartilage breaking, and police believe he was waiting for the body to decompose inside the mixture. This was when there was a huge warrant and a manhunt for Tatsuya, and his picture was everywhere. There was even a big cardboard cutout of Tatsuya just in case anyone have seen him. Police even photoshopped a picture of potentially when Tatsuya would disguise as a woman. During his run, Tatsuya actually wrote in a diary about his emotions and how he got by while he was on the run. He says that he got around different areas of Japan by train, ferry, and walking. He even traveled to very rural areas, even going to the Buddhist temple in the mountains, where in one of the pages he wrote that he wishes Lindsay would come back to life. He even spent time in a tiny island of Oha where only 4 families lived in a concrete bunker, ate wild food, fish that he caught, and he even ate snakes when he got really hungry. He claims that this was such a hard life for him, you know, just being on the run, eating snakes and trying to find food, but that this was what he had to deal with, as it's the price I have to pay. She suffered more pain. I took Lindsay's life. That fact does not change. According to these kind of excerpts, do you think he is guilty because he doesn't want to get caught? Or is he really guilty for what he has done? In order to not get caught, he also says that he always wore hats and a white mask to cover himself. But at the same time, you know, in Asia, wearing masks is very usual. He was also able to go into malls and shops where a lot of people were, but he says that he never made eye contact. By this time, Lindsay's family were so desperate that there was a suspect on the loose, a killer on the loose. So police decided to offer a $121,000 reward anyone leading to his arrest. It was one day when he walked by the police station where there's usually a wanted sign of all the criminals, and he saw his own face. So this is when first he decided to do a little bit of plastic surgery on himself. He got a box cutter and started to take out 2 moles on his face by himself, like he dug it up. Then using a scissor, he decided to cut the lower lip in order to make his lips thinner. He also tried using a thread and needles to make his nose narrower to give himself a nose job. He knew that this wasn't enough to deceive the police or the public that could recognize him, and he decided to get some professional work done. But in order to do that, he needed some money. He started working at construction sites in various towns, never staying too long and hopping around different sites in order to prevent any detection. Within the time that he was on the run, he was able to gather about $12,000, where police say most of the money went into plastic surgery. He ended up having 2 operations on his nose, where first he made it narrower, second to raise the bridge of the nose. There's also a rumor that he had double eyelid surgery and had cheek implants. Now the thing is, when you get plastic surgery done, I've been to plastic surgery clinics as well, and they always take before and after pictures so that you could compare, and also it helps out the staff and the surgeon. Tatsuya agreed to take the photos because I guess he didn't really have any other options, and this is when the surgeons and the clinic staff got really suspicious. They noticed that the mole in his face was like cut off by himself, and they started to recognize, this guy's face kind of looks similar. So the clinic actually handed over his photos, before and after photos, to the police, and bam, this is when the police put his new plastic surgery face on TV and the newspaper. And as you guys can see, his face seems very swollen, like the bottom part of the lips is definitely changed. Like his own personal scissor cutting of the lips definitely worked, and I think because he did it in a very improper way, his bottom lips, his chin, seems very swollen. Tatsuya claims that he once was watching TV and he saw his own face. He claims that his heart was racing so fast and that he gazed at the picture of himself trembling. In order to conceal himself again, he got a haircut, bought a fake beard, sideburns, and a mustache. On November 10th, 2009, 2 years and 6 months on the run, Tatsuya was trying to flee by boarding a ferry to Okinawa. Police got a tip of where he was, and finally Tatsuya was arrested. Later on in the interrogation, he claimed that he didn't mean to kill Lindsay. He was only trying to silence her for a moment when he accidentally killed her. Now, I personally believe that he was just saying this in order to lessen lessen the sentence because the sentencing differs whether you premeditated or you didn't. Tatsuya also claimed that he tried to revive her after, but it didn't work. She was already gone. Eventually, Tatsuya was sentenced to life in prison. The odd thing about his diaries is that he never actually mentioned the killing of Lindsay, nor the motive of what he has done. But at the same time, he also writes an apology and like a remorse by saying, how could I have done such a stupid thing? I'm not really sure the psychology, but why do you think that he wrote all the emotions of what happened after and how he was feeling, but not go into detail of what actually happened? Was what he had done only left in his dark, deep memories and he didn't want to talk about it? Another creepy thing is the day that Lindsay died, that morning, actually Tatsuya and his girlfriend were together in his apartment, but they were fighting, bickering, and the girlfriend ended up leaving the apartment because she was angry at whatever argument they were having about. But she decided that she wanted to make it up with Tatsuya, and she came back to his apartment when she saw police and caution tape all over. What do you think his then girlfriend was going through? The fact that your boyfriend just murdered someone and it could have been you possibly. He later published his writings into a book and claimed that he will donate all the royalties to Lindsay's family. And of course, Lindsay's family denied. There's also a movie that was made after the book where it predominantly focuses on Tatsuya and his emotions and his diary and what he was going through in the 2.5 years he was on the run. And Lindsay's family claimed that it's a disrespect to Lindsay. I mean, technically, you're kind of not glamorizing, but you made this horrible killer the main character. Although the movie director was claimed that it was to better know a criminal's mind and their emotions. If there's any other cases you guys want me to talk about, remember to email askgrazy@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to check HelloFresh out and see you guys in my next video.